I found out my dad secretly replaced me with his new family, so I decided to expose him at his birthday party. Growing up, I thought my dad Martin was the best man alive. He was the guy who worked late but still made it to my baseball games. The guy who taught me how to ride a bike, fixed every broken toy, and stayed up late helping me with my history papers, even when he had work at 6 a.m. the next morning. We weren't rich. We lived in a modest 3-bedroom house in suburban Ohio, the kind of neighborhood where you knew your neighbors and barbecues were a weekly thing during summer. But I never felt like I lacked anything. My mom, Sandra, was quieter, more reserved. She handled the house, the bills, the behind-the-scenes stuff. Dad was the face of the family. The smile, the loud laugh at birthday parties, the guy who always knew the right thing to say to make you feel better. At least that's who he was. Things started changing when I was about 15. He missed one of my baseball games. No big deal, work emergency. Then he missed another. And another. Then a whole season went by, and he only came to one game and left before it ended. "Work's just been crazy, buddy," he'd say, ruffling my hair with a tired smile. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? By the time I graduated high school, he barely showed up at all. He missed my senior award ceremony, I got a scholarship, and had to accept it alone. Mom said he was traveling for a big project. I nodded and swallowed the disappointment. When I left for college, our relationship thinned into occasional texts and a phone call maybe once a month. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Hope classes are going well. Meanwhile, some of my friends' dads were visiting campus, helping them move into dorms, taking them out for pizza. Mine sent $100 on Venmo with a "proud of you, son," and a thumbs up emoji. It hurt, but I told myself it was normal. Parents get busy. He's providing for us. You're an adult now. Stop whining. I tried to be understanding. I worked 2 jobs during college, tutoring and waiting tables because I didn't want to lean on him too much. Graduated with honors. First in my family to do it. When I texted him the news, he replied, "Great job, buddy." No call, no visit. It stung more than I wanted to admit. Still, deep down, I kept thinking, when things slow down for him, we'll reconnect. Fast forward to when I was 23. I had a job interview back in my hometown. Something decent, a marketing assistant role at a mid-sized firm. I was staying with a friend and decided impulsively to surprise my dad at his office. I stopped at a local coffee shop, picked up 2 large black coffees. He always drank it black, no sugar, no cream, and a couple of muffins. Maybe it was naive, but part of me imagined him lighting up when he saw me. Like one of those cheesy movie scenes. I parked across the street from the office. It was a modest building. Nothing fancy. It was late afternoon, around 4:30 p.m. I waited a minute, rehearsing what I'd say. "Hey, old man. Thought I'd drag you away from your spreadsheets for a minute." Something casual. Then I saw him. He wasn't alone. There was a woman, tall, blonde, maybe late 30s, standing next to him. 2 little kids, maybe 4 and 6 years old, clinging to his arms. A boy and a girl. They were all laughing. The boy tugged on his sleeve, and my dad leaned down and picked him up, spinning him around like he used to do with me when I was that age. He kissed the woman's cheek. She smiled up at him like he was her entire world. Then I heard it clear as day, across the parking lot. The little girl shouted, "Daddy, Daddy, look at me!" And he turned, beaming, the same way he used to look at me. The muffin bag crumpled in my hand. I felt cold, hollow, stupid. I sat frozen in my car for what felt like hours, just watching them pile into a silver SUV, laughing, joking, like a picture-perfect family from a brochure. Not once did he glance around like he had a son out there somewhere. Not once. I drove away without ever getting out of the car. I didn't tell my mom. I didn't tell my friends. I didn't even tell my girlfriend at the time. I didn't know how to explain it. I wasn't even sure what I had seen. Was it an affair? A secret second family? Was he divorced and never told me? The betrayal festered inside me like an infection. I started stalking his Facebook, LinkedIn, anywhere he had a public profile. But everything was locked down. Barely any personal posts. Nothing suspicious. Then I found her, the blonde woman, tagged in a group photo from a local PTA meeting. Her name was Stephanie Carter. She had a different last name. But in her About Me section, there it was. Proud mom of 2 amazing kids, happily partnered with the love of my life, Martin, my dad's first name. And her kids, both listed under her family section. Her son Jason Carter, age 6, 15. Her daughter Mia Carter, age 4. Quick math told me all I needed to know. Jason would have been born when I was 17. Mia at 19. Dad hadn't just drifted away because of work. He built a whole new life without me. He replaced me. For a while, I didn't know what to do with the information. Some nights, I convinced myself to just let it go. He's happy. You're an adult. Move on. Other nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, rage simmering in my chest like acid. He didn't even have the decency to tell me, to sit me down and be a man about it. Instead, he phased me out like an old piece of furniture quietly, without a scene, without a goodbye. Weeks passed. I threw myself into work, hit the gym harder than usual, tried to pretend it didn't bother me, but it did. God, it did. Then I got an unexpected text from my Dad's sister, Aunt Laura. Hey, sweetie, just a heads up. Dad's big 50th is coming up. We're throwing him a surprise party next Saturday at the house. Hope you can come. He'll be thrilled to see you. I stared at the screen for a long time. Thrilled? He would be thrilled? Yeah. I bet he would. That's when the idea started forming. Not at once. At first it was just a petty thought, like flicking a lighter in a dark room. But the more I turned it over in my mind, the more it grew. And the angrier I got, the more it started to make perfect poisonous sense. If he wanted a new family so badly, if he wanted to pretend the old one didn't exist, maybe it was time I reminded him. The day of the party, I showed up right on time. The house looked just like I remembered from when I was a kid. Same cracked driveway, same chipped front porch, same stupid garden gnome by the steps. I had parked a block away so he wouldn't spot me early. Inside, the place was buzzing. Aunts, uncles, neighbors all gathered, laughing, eating finger foods, decorating with gold and black streamers. Someone had ordered a giant happy 50th Martin cake. I recognized a lot of faces, but there were new ones too. Faces I didn't know. One of them was Stephanie. She was standing by the kitchen island, laughing with some of Dad's co-workers, wearing a tight navy dress, sipping white wine. I didn't see the kids yet, probably running around somewhere. The house looked different in small ways. A new couch, some fresh paint, but it still smelled the same. Pine sol and Mom's old apple-scented candle. Funny how smell brings it all back. I kept my distance at first, blending in, making small talk with a few people who recognized me but hadn't seen me in years. Wow, all grown up now. Last time I saw you, you were yay tall. Your dad must be so proud. Proud. Right. At around 6:30 p.m., someone shouted, "He's here!" and everyone rushed to their hiding spots. I ducked behind the couch with a group of cousins. The door opened. Surprise. A chorus of cheers. Dad stood in the doorway looking fake shocked, hand on his chest, laughing, playing the part, like always. Stephanie came up and kissed him on the cheek. Someone handed him a beer. He made a speech, something about being blessed, about family, about second chances and gratitude. Second chances. That almost made me laugh out loud. Then the party settled into its rhythm, people eating, drinking, chatting. I bided my time, nursing a Coke, waiting for the right moment. It came when they called everyone into the living room for speech time. Someone passed Dad a giant card signed by everybody. Tears welled up in his eyes. Perfect. I moved closer, slipping through the crowd, until I was just a few feet from him. He hadn't noticed me yet. He was too busy thanking everyone, talking about being surrounded by so much love. I waited until there was a natural pause, a beat of silence before stepping forward. "Hey, Dad," I said loudly. The room went quiet. He turned and froze. For a split second, his face crumpled. Just a flash, panic, guilt, something raw before he covered it up with a tight smile. "Son," he said, voice a little too loud. "You made it." Stephanie turned too, smiling politely, clearly unsure who I was. I walked right up to him. "Wouldn't miss it for the world," I said. Then, loud enough for everyone to hear, "especially after meeting your other family." A ripple went through the room, soft gasps, murmurs. Dad's smile froze on his face. Stephanie's smile disappeared entirely. I could feel Aunt Laura staring daggers into the back of my head. "What are you talking about, buddy?" Dad said, forcing a chuckle. "You've got it all wrong, do I?" I interrupted. "Because I'm pretty sure I saw you playing house with your new wife and kids last month. You know, the ones you never told me about?" Stephanie's face paled. She set her wine glass down slowly, like it might explode. Someone coughed awkwardly. Dad stepped closer, voice low, trying to regain control. "Let's talk about this outside, okay?" "No," I said. "I think your family deserves to hear it." I turned, addressing the room. "Martin here," I said, gesturing broadly, "is a great dad. So great that he decided to start over and just forget he already had a son." Now, the murmurs were louder, people shifting uncomfortably, exchanging looks. Built a whole new life, new wife, new kids, no divorce papers, no custody agreements, no nothing. "That's not true," Dad said, voice rising. His face was red now. "Really?" I said. "So you didn't just fade out of my life? You didn't just send birthday texts instead of showing up? You didn't ghost me after building a shiny new family?" Stephanie stepped forward, putting a hand on Dad's arm. "Martin," she said quietly, "what is he talking about?" Dad looked like he wanted the floor to open up and swallow him whole. "I was protecting him," he said finally, voice shaking. "I thought it was better that way, protecting me. Like I was some burden he had to shield from the amazing life he built without me." "Yeah," I said, "you did a hell of a job." I dropped the unopened gift bag. I'd brought a symbolic gesture right at his feet. "Happy birthday, Dad." And with that, I turned and walked out. I didn't even make it halfway down the driveway before I heard the front door slam open behind me. "Wait." Dad's voice, hoarse, desperate. I didn't slow down. Gravel crunched under my sneakers as I power walked toward the street, head pounding, throat tight. "Please," he shouted again, closer this time. "Just talk to me." When I reached the sidewalk, he caught up, grabbed my arm, yanking me to a stop. "Let go," I said, my voice low and dangerous. He let go. We stood there, 2 feet apart, breathing hard. The suburban street around us was lit by warm porch lights, soft and cozy, a total contrast to the boiling rage between us. "I didn't want it to be like this," he said, hands up like he was warding off a punch. "I swear, I never wanted to hurt you." "You just what?" I snapped. "Forgot I existed." "No," he said quickly. "No, I thought, after everything with your mom, after the way things ended, maybe it was better for you to move on too." "You don't get to decide that for me," I said. "I know." He looked down at his shoes, shame radiating off him like heat. "I know I screwed up." "You think?" I barked a laugh, bitter and sharp. "You had a whole other family, kids, a wife, and you didn't think maybe, just maybe, you owed me a damn conversation?" He flinched. "Stephanie didn't know about me, did she?" I said, pressing the knife in deeper. "Didn't even tell your new wife you had a son out there somewhere?" He didn't answer, and that was answer enough. God, he wasn't even ashamed because of me. He was ashamed because now Stephanie knew, because now the perfect little lie he'd built was crumbling. "You're a coward," I said quietly. He didn't argue, didn't even deny it, just stood there, breathing heavy, looking 10 years older than he had 5 minutes ago. I turned to go. "Please," he said again. "I want to fix this." "You can't." "Let me try." I shook my head. "You didn't just break something, Dad," I said. "You erased it." I didn't go straight home. I drove around for a while, windows down, cold air numbing my face until the adrenaline wore off and exhaustion took over. Eventually, I parked outside a 24-hour diner, went inside, and ordered pancakes I couldn't finish. I stared at the peeling Formica table, the cracked vinyl booths, the buzzing neon light. Around me, life went on. Truckers, students, graveyard shift workers eating, laughing, scrolling their phones. Nobody cared about my drama. Nobody even noticed me. That should have made me feel lonelier. But somehow, it was comforting. The world was bigger than my screwed up family. I wasn't the center of it. I was just another person trying to figure it out. 2 days later, Dad texted me, "Dad, I'm sorry. I know words aren't enough. When you're ready, please let me know. I'll do whatever it takes to be part of your life again." I stared at the message for a long time. No anger this time, just sadness and pity. For him, for me, for everything that could have been, but wasn't. I didn't respond. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Meanwhile, word traveled fast. Aunt Laura called me. Stephanie too. Both awkward, fumbling, trying to pick up pieces they didn't even realize had been broken. I had no idea. Stephanie said on the phone, voice tight. I thought he was single when we met. I believed her. Not because she deserved it, but because lying was Dad's specialty and she'd just been another Ma. Still, I didn't want anything to do with their drama. Not my circus. Not my monkeys. About a week later, I got another message. This one from someone I hadn't expected. Jess, my half-sister. The little girl I'd seen at the mall, probably no older than 9 or 10. Her message was short, tentative. Jess, hi, I'm sorry if I'm bothering you. Dad told me about you. I think it's cool I have a big brother. I stared at it, heart twisting. She wasn't part of this. None of it was her fault. And somehow, despite everything, the thought of a little sister out there wanting to know me cracked something open inside. Maybe there was still something left to salvage. Not with Dad, but maybe with her. I didn't answer Jess right away. What the hell was I supposed to say? Hey, sorry your dad's a liar, but yeah, sure. Let's hang out. Still, her message sat there in my inbox, glowing softly like a tiny ember that refused to die. On the third day, I finally wrote back. Me. Hey, Jess, you're not bothering me. I think it's cool too. Hope you're doing okay. It was short, careful, but it was honest. And within minutes, she replied. Jess, do you like video games? I play Fortnite, but I'm not very good lol. I laughed. For the first time in weeks, maybe months, it wasn't bitter. Just normal. Me. Yeah, I play sometimes. Maybe we could play a match together? Jess? Yes. That would be awesome. And just like that, something shifted. Something I hadn't even realized was locked tight. We set up a time that weekend. I was nervous as hell logging on, heart hammering like it was some kind of job interview or first date. When her username popped up on my screen, Unicorn Queen 87, I smiled despite myself. She was exactly what she sounded like. Bubbly, chaotic, trash-talking like a pro even though she died every 5 minutes. But she didn't care. She just laughed and responded and kept going. The way kids do when the world hasn't crushed them yet. At one point she said, "You're way better than Dad. He gets mad and rage quits." I snorted. Yeah, that sounds about right. And she giggled, not even catching the bitterness under my words. We played for 2 hours, talked about stupid stuff, favorite movies, pets, school drama. She told me she wanted to be a veterinarian when she grew up. I told her about the time I tried to rescue a squirrel and it bit me. Technically true, though rescue might be a generous word. She thought it was hilarious. She asked if I had any pets now. I told her no. That led to a long debate about whether cats or dogs were better. Spoiler. She thinks cats are evil. For a while, it felt almost easy. Almost normal. Like maybe, just maybe, I hadn't lost everything. Of course, it wasn't that simple. It never is. A few days later, Dad texted again. Dad, I heard you and Jess have been talking. I'm really glad. I miss you, kiddo. Please let's meet up soon. I stared at the screen, stomach twisting. I should have ignored it. But I couldn't. Maybe part of me wanted to punish him. Maybe part of me still stupidly wanted him to try harder. So, I wrote back. Me. You can meet me at Danny's Diner, Saturday at 5. 1 hour. No lies. No excuses. If you screw this up, it's over. He replied, almost instantly. Dad, I'll be there. Thank you. I love you. I didn't answer, because I wasn't sure I loved him back. Saturday came faster than I expected. I sat in the diner booth, heart pounding, picking at the peeling edges of the table. I almost left. Twice. But then the bell above the door jingled. And there he was. Dad. Looking tired. Older. carrying a small paper bag like he'd just come from a store. He slid into the booth across from me. We stared at each other for a moment. Neither of us spoke. Finally, he cleared his throat. I brought something, he said, pushing the bag toward me. Suspicious, I pulled it open. Inside was a battered old photo album. I flipped it open. Pictures of me as a baby, a toddler, a little kid. Pictures I didn't even know existed. Some with mom, some with just me grinning, crying, messy, wild. Proof that once, a long time ago, he had cared. I kept them, he said quietly. I always meant to give them to you one day. One day, I repeated bitterly. I know, he said. Too late. I know. We sat there in silence. The waitress came by. We ordered coffee we didn't drink. Finally, he said, I won't make excuses. I was selfish. I was scared. I thought starting over would fix everything. I thought if I buried the past deep enough, it wouldn't hurt so much. He looked up at me, but it didn't work. It just hurt you more. I didn't say anything, because what was there to say? He wasn't wrong. But if you'll let me, he continued, voice breaking, I want to be here now. I want to do better. Even if you hate me, even if it takes years. Tears stung my eyes. God, I hated how badly I wanted to believe him. How badly I wanted that stupid Hallmark ending where everything gets fixed with a hug. But life wasn't a movie. And sometimes, love wasn't enough. We talked for a while longer, carefully, awkwardly. He apologized again, genuinely, I think. He didn't make promises he couldn't keep. Didn't beg. He just sat there, raw and broken, waiting to see if I'd throw him a lifeline. In the end, I didn't forgive him. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But when he asked if he could call me sometimes just to talk, no pressure, I nodded. Because healing isn't about forgetting. It's about surviving. And sometimes survival means letting yourself want things again, even if it's messy, even if it hurts. A week passed. Then two. Dad kept his words small, cautious steps. A text here, a short call there. Never pushing, never demanding. Meanwhile, Jess and I kept gaming, talking, laughing. But it was weird living this double life. Half-brother to a kid I hadn't asked for. Son to a man I barely trusted. Some nights I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I was making a huge mistake. Maybe I should have cut them both off. Started clean. No ties, no mess. But then Jess would send a dumb meme at 2 a.m. and I'd laugh until I cried. Or Dad would text something stupid like, remember when you tried to microwave a fork? And I'd actually smile. And for a minute, it felt worth it. Until it didn't. It happened on a random Thursday. Jess asked if I wanted to come to her school's spring play. She was playing a tree or something. Don't laugh, she was proud. I hesitated. Crowds weren't really my thing these days. Neither were family events. But she sounded so damn excited. And, okay, maybe part of me wanted to see if Dad would show up too. If he could actually act like a real parent for once. So I said yes. The auditorium was packed. Screaming kids. Parents crammed into tiny seats. I found a spot near the back, clutching the program like a shield. Jess waved from backstage, her costume, basically a giant green blob, and I gave her a thumbs up. Dad showed up late, naturally, but he made it. Sliding into the seat next to me, smelling faintly of cheap cologne and panic. Sorry, he whispered. Traffic. I grunted. Didn't look at him. The lights dimmed. The play started. Jess was adorable. Wobbling around, saying her 3 lines with total conviction. I actually teared up a little, not gonna lie. When it was over, everyone surged into the lobby. Jess found us immediately, face flushed with pride. You came, she squealed, hugging me so hard I almost dropped my phone. You were awesome, I said, ruffling her hair. Dad hugged her too, grinning. It should have been a nice moment. It should have felt good. But then I saw her, standing a few feet away. A woman, dark there, toned hair, blonde, sharp-eyed, clutching a little boy about Jess's age. My stomach dropped. Dad went rigid. Jess noticed too. Daddy, can I go get a juice box? she asked quickly, sensing the tension. He nodded stiffly. As soon as she skipped off, the woman approached. "Chris," she said coolly, looking past me like I didn't exist. "You're late." I told you I had to work," Dad muttered. "Yeah?" she snapped. "And who's this?" She jabbed a manicured finger at me. I opened my mouth, but Dad beat me to it. "Nobody," he said. "Just a friend." The word hit harder than any punch. Nobody. Just a friend. Not my son. Not family. Nobody. White. The woman, whoever the hell she was, smirked. Figures. Dad had moved on. Built a whole new life. New wife, new kid. And I was just inconvenient. Something to hide. My hands were shaking. I turned to go. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't think. Dad grabbed my arm. "Wait," he hissed. "It's not what you think." I yanked free. "You're right," I said, voice like ice. "It's worse." Jess came running back, clutching her juice. "Where are you going?" she asked, confused. I forced a smile. I forgot I had to do something. I lied. Her face fell. "But you said..." "I'm sorry," I said, backing away. And then I was gone. Out the door. Into the cold night air. He called. He texted. I didn't answer. For days. Finally, I sent one message. Me. Lose my number. That was it. No dramatic goodbye. No closure. Because sometimes you have to choose yourself. Even if it breaks your heart. Jess messaged too. I didn't respond right away. Couldn't. Didn't know how to explain without destroying her world too. In the end, I sent something small. Something honest. Me. I'm proud of you. Always. Stay strong. She deserved better than me. Better than him. Better than all of it. I thought that was the end. I thought I could move on. I was wrong. Because 2 weeks later, I got a letter. A real, old school letter. No return address. Just my name scribbled in messy handwriting. Inside was a note. 2 sentences. "I'm sorry for everything. You were never nobody. Love. Dad." And a photo. Yes. Smiling. Wearing the ugliest handmade paper tree costume I'd ever seen. On the back he'd written, "Family isn't about blood. It's about choice. If you ever want to choose us again, we'll be here." I sat there, holding the letter, feeling like my chest was caving in. Because despite everything, despite all the pain, I realized something. I didn't hate him. Not really. I hated what he did. I hated how he hurt me. But some small, stubborn part of me still loved him, still loved Jess, still wanted against all logic to believe in second chances. Maybe I'd call him someday. Not today, not tomorrow, but someday. Because healing isn't a straight line. It's messy, ugly, real, and sometimes it starts with just one broken kid daring to hope again. Update. A year later, it's been a year since I cut ties with my dad. A year since I sent that final text, "Lose my number." And honestly, I didn't expect much. I figured that was it. No more guilt trips, no more drama. Just me, moving on. But life, as usual, had other plans. A few months ago, Jess reached out. I thought about ignoring it, but something told me I couldn't. So I answered. It was a short text. "Yes. Hey, I know things are still weird, but I miss you. Can we talk?" I stared at it for a while, my thumb hovering over the screen. I didn't know what to say. Was I ready? Did I even have the right to talk to her again after everything? But in the end, I replied. Just 2 words. "Me, I'm here." We met at a small cafe. She was older now. Color. Still had that infectious smile though. She didn't mention Dad. Not at first. We talked about everything but him. Her school, her friends, her new hobbies. It felt normal. Like before. Like nothing had changed. But eventually it came up. "I've missed you," she said quietly, sipping her coffee. "You were always so good to me." When you left, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know why you left. I didn't have a perfect answer. I wasn't sure I ever would. "I needed space," I said, shrugging. I couldn't keep pretending like nothing had happened. "I know," she nodded. "But Dad, he's been different, you know. After you left, he tried. I saw him trying to make up for it. But it wasn't the same. It hit me then that while I was trying to heal, she'd been left picking up the pieces. "I'm sorry," I said, voice cracking. "I should have been there for you." Jess smiled softly, like she knew I wasn't looking for forgiveness, just understanding. "You didn't have to be perfect, but you'll always be my brother. And Dad, he's trying." I don't know if that's enough, but I think it's all we've got. Things weren't perfect after that meeting, but it was a start, a real start. I didn't reach out to Dad right away though. I wasn't sure if I could. But Jess kept encouraging me, telling me how much it would mean to him if I did. A few weeks later, I texted him, I don't know if we can fix everything, but I'm willing to try." It was the hardest text I've ever sent. We met for lunch a few days after. Dad had aged. His hair was graying more, but his eyes, they were still full of guilt and hope. We talked for hours, not about the past, not directly, but we talked about everything else. The small thing, his work, his favorite TV show, the weather. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. I don't know if we'll ever be what we once were, but we were trying. That was enough for now. I'm still figuring things out, still learning to forgive, still trying to heal. But one thing's for sure. Family is messy. Family is complicated. But family is also worth fighting for, even if you have to break a few things to make it whole again. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.